Hello and welcome to another installment of Bad Creepypasta. Today's story is called Laughing Jack. Link is available in the description, as always. It was a nice summer day. Ooh, I was playing Sonic Unleashed. My 5-year-old son James was playing outside in the back.
You've never had sex.
In the backyard of our suburban home. It's just wishful thinking, isn't it? It was a nice day. I got the sun shining. I got my little kid around me.
Yeah, so I'm not totally sitting here playing Sonic Unleashed, getting a pizza, combining it with a donut, shoving it in my mouth, and finding out how so alone I am.
James has always been a quiet boy. He plays by himself.
Jason.
Mostly.
I'm making heavy rain jokes.
He never had many friends, but he has always had a wild imagination.
Just like the writer of this story.
Yeah. Much like him father, he have wild grasp of English. I was in the kitchen feeding our dog Fido.
Fido! It's the only name for a fucking dog!
Really, they're like, you're writing a story, and your imagination could go on. You went with fucking Fido. Why didn't you call it dog? We fed our dog dog. Fuck you!
We fed it some dog. We were intravenously feeding it more dog as an experiment.
It was. We
all
grafted 3 dogs together. It was like an Ouroboros of dogs.
We all felt very bad afterwards and cried for several hours.
And for some reason it started presenting Galaxy News Radio.
When I heard what sounded like James talking to someone in the backyard, I'm not sure who it was he could be talking to. Could he have finally made a friend? Being a single mum, it's hard for me to always keep an eye on my son, so I decided to go outside and check on him. When I went into the backyard, I was a bit confused, because James was the only person back there. Was he talking to himself?
Yes, he's a child. He's a 5-year-old fucking child. Yeah. It's not uncommon.
A child alone in a garden somewhere. He's gonna sit down, do some accountancy. What the fuck were you expecting?
He's gonna study the Pythagoras theory. Yeah. Fuck off.
He was calculating pi to 1,000...
Strangle words.
James, it's time to come inside, I called out to him. He came inside and sat down at the kitchen table. It was about lunchtime, so I decided to make him a turkey sandwich. James, who were you talking to out there? I asked. James looked up for a moment. I was playing with my new friend, he said, smiling.
Lightning Jack.
I poured him some milk and continued to pry, as any good mother would. Does your friend have a name? Why didn't you ask him to have lunch with us? I asked. James stared at me for a moment before replying. His name is Laughing Jack.
Sorry, no. His name's Grumpy Jack.
I was just an alcoholic 5-year-old. I was a bit taken back by what he had said. Oh, that's a strange name. What does your friend look like? I asked, a bit confused. He's a clown. He has long hair and a big swirly cone nose. He's got long arms and baggy pants with stripy socks, and he always smiles.
Fuck off.
I realised my son was talking about an imaginary friend. I suppose it is normal for kids his age to have imaginary friends, especially when he has no real kids to play with. It's probably just a phase.
The rest of the day went by as per usual, and it was starting to get late, so I put James to bed. I tucked him in, gave him a kiss, and made sure to turn on his nightlight before I closed the door. I was pretty tired myself, so I decided to go to bed not long after. I had an awful nightmare. ... It's the seal of scariness coming out, so you get scared, yeah?
Ellipses.
Right, it's about to get scary. It was dark. I was in some kind of run-down amusement park. I was scared, running through an endless field of empty tents, broken down rides, and abandoned game huts. No, you were just at Disney after hours.
Euro Disney.
The whole place had a horrible look to it. Everything was black and white. The prize stuffed animals all hung from nooses in the game huts, all with sick grins that stitched to their faces. Scary. It felt like the whole park was looking at me, even though there wasn't another living thing in sight.
Was the carousel music being played backwards?
Then suddenly,
could you hear the pixels?
Holy shit! You are a fucking psycho. Then suddenly, I began to hear music play. The sounds of Pop Goes the Weasel being played on a squeeze hole. Squeeze box? The fuck is a squeeze box?
It's an accordion. It's an accordion.
Couldn't they just say accordion? No.
Look. Do you think they know how to spell accordion?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Played on a squeeze box, echoed through the park. It was hypnotising. I followed its tune to the circus tent, almost in a trance, unable to stop my legs from moving forward. It was pitch black. Vin Diesel was there. The only light came from a single spotlight shining in the centre of the big top. As I walked towards the light, music slowed down, and I found myself singing along, unable to stop. Someone else can do that. I ain't fucking doing that.
This is nothing like a dream.
No, it really is.
All around Marbury Bush, Rocky. Chase the weasel. The monkey, 'twas so fun.
As I'm smoking a fucking dream.
The music stopped right before its climax, and suddenly the lights shot on. The intensity of the lights was practically blinding.
Jesus.
All I could see was a small dark silhouette shuffle towards me. Then another one appeared, and another and another. There were dozens of them, all coming towards me. I couldn't move, my legs were frozen. All I could do was watch as the haunting figures drew nearer. As I got closer, I could see ... They were children!
Holy shit, plot
Oh
twist!
my god, they weren't midgets!
As I looked at each one, I noticed they were all horribly disfigured and mutilated. Some had cuts all over their body, others were severely burned, and others were missing limbs.
Blah, blah, blah,
This is
horrible
glorious.
children.
Even eyes! Wow.
Even eyes. The children enveloped me, clawing at my flesh and my toes, dragging me to the ground and tearing inside me. As the children tore me apart and I faded away, all I could hear was laughter. Horrible, awful, evil laughter.
As the light faded from my eyes, all I could hear was just one final sentence. It's no use!
Just hear one final sentence. Come on, step it up. I woke up the next morning in a cold sweat. After taking a few deep breaths, I looked
That's
over
taking a deep dump.
and saw that a few of James's action figures were positioned facing me on top of my nightstand. I sighed. James had probably woken up early and put these here.
I'll have to beat him again.
I gathered up the toys and made my way to James's room. However, when I opened the door, James was sound asleep. I just shrugged and placed his toys back into his toy box and headed out to the living room. A little while later, James woke up and I made him breakfast. He was quiet
Do we need to go through all the meals you're giving the kid?
and seemed a bit groggy. Perhaps he didn't sleep well either. I decided to ask him about the toys. James, how did you put toys in Mummy's room this morning? His eyes shot up at me for a moment, then quickly glanced back down at his cereal. Laughing Jack did it! I rolled my eyes and responded. Well, you tell Laughing Jack to keep the toys in your room. James nodded and finished up his breakfast, then decided to go play out in the backyard.
I really had a very antisocial kid. I probably should have done something about that, but since I'm a terrible person.
I went to relax in the living room. I must have dozed off, even though I just woke up.
Yeah.
Because I woke up a couple of hours later. Shit! I need to check on James! I was a bit worried. It had been over 2 hours and I hadn't checked on him, even though you just reaffirmed that statement.
Like, you should do what proper parents do, stick in front of the TV or something for 2 hours.
Here's
Here's a fucking Disney movie, go watch that.
It's fucking Frozen for the 50th
Yeah.
time.
You watch Frozen, Mummy's gonna relax with a nice bottle of wine or two.
I stepped out into the backyard.
Isn't that like the start of a dance move? I stepped up.
I
I challenged
too.
James to a dance off, as we usually do in the afternoon. James, time to get surfed here.
James wasn't there anymore. I was getting nervous, so I called out to him, James! James, where are you, Sanic? Just then I heard a giggle coming from the front yard. I rushed over through the gate into the front of the house. James was sitting on the sidewalk. I breathed a sigh of relief and walked over him. James! How many times have I told you to stay in the backyard? James! What are you eating? James looked at me, then reached into his pocket and pulled out a handful of hard candies in all colours. This all made me very nervous. James! Who gave you that candy? James just stared at me and not speaking. James! Please tell me where you got that candy! It was Sanic. James hung his head down and said, Laughing Jack gave it to me. My heart sunk. I kneeled down, looking him in the eye. James, I've had enough of this damn Laughing Jack thing. He is not real! Just like all the creepypastas, even though they try and make you think it's real, even though it isn't. Now this is a very serious situation, and I need to know who gave him that candy.
Super cereal.
I could see my son tear up. But Mama, Laughing Jack did give me the candy. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. James never lied to me. But
He knew better.
But what he is telling me is impossible. I made him spit out the candy, and I throw the West away. James appears to be fine. Maybe I'm just overreacting. After all, he could have gotten it from Tom and Linda from next door. Or Mr. Walker from down the street. Either way, I'm going to have to keep a closer eye on James. That night, I put James to bed as usual and decided to go to bed early myself. Again. Suddenly, I was woken up by a loud bang coming from the kitchen. I sprang out of bed and hurried down the stairs. When I got to the kitchen, I was horrified. Everything on the counters had been thrown on the floor, and our dog Fido hung dead from the light fixture.
No, not Fido. Why? He was my favourite character!
No! It's like if you kill a dog in a movie, suddenly it's a million times worse than if you kill any human.
Will Smith, why did you not save that dog?
His stomach was cut open and stuffed with candy, the same type James was eating earlier that day. My shock was quickly broken by a sharp scream coming from James's room, followed by loud crashes. I quickly grabbed the knife from the drawer and moved towards the stairs.
Wait. Do you have a reason?
With the speed only a mother whose child is in danger could have. Gotta go fast. I burst through the door and flicked the lights. Everybody got on the floor and did the dinosaur.
That's the third time.
Everything in the room was knocked over and tossed on the floor. My poor son, in his bed, crying and shaking with fear. Clearly the bed wasn't on the floor then, was it?
It was on the ceiling.
A pool of urine staining the sheets. Really didn't need to go that far. I scooped my child up like ice cream.
He smelled like piss, so I threw him back down.
I ran out of the house and went to the next door Tom and Linda's house. Luckily, they were still awake.
They were on the ground.
And immediately called the police, which was in effect about 3 seconds later. They let me use their phone and I called the police. Didn't take them long to arrive. Usually doesn't in these fucking stories. And I explained what had happened. They looked at me as if I were crazy.
If I was crazy.
I heard noises, my dog's been murdered, and someone apparently tried to attack my son. You okay, lady?
You okay, lady?
I think someone's been at the old wacky tobacco.
Yeah, ma'am, you are clearly drunk.
They searched my house, but all they found was a dead dog and 2 trashed rooms. That's all they found, you know. It's fine.
What else were they going to find? That's what she told them was there.
Clear, like,
yeah, but she's mental.
Ma'am, we searched the house top to bottom in a very, a glance. Clearly there's no murderer here. You're wasting our time. You're under arrest.
The officer told me that someone had probably gotten into the house and done this right before making a quick escape when they heard me coming up the stairs. I know it wasn't true. All the doors were locked and none of the windows were open. Whatever was in my house didn't come from outside.
Came from within. The call was coming from inside the house.
But who was dog?
The next day, James stayed inside. I didn't want him to leave my sight. I went into the garage and found an old baby monitor and set it up in his room. If anything comes to his room tonight, I was going to be able to hear it. I went to the kitchen and grabbed the largest knife in the drawer and put it on the nightstand. Imaginary friend or not, I'm not letting anything hurt my little boy.
So, once again, the police have, someone's broken into your house, okay, and then they just left. Like, someone broke into your house and killed your dog. Shouldn't they, a police be doing something more?
You okay, lady?
They could probably, they would probably station, an officer, to, keep an eye on the place.
Yeah. Soon enough, night came. Ha! I put James to bed, but he was afraid. But I promised him that I wasn't going to let anything happen to him. I tucked him in, gave him a kiss, turned on the night light, before closing the door.
Getting on the floor.
You
know how this song and dance goes.
I whispered to him, "Good night, James. I love you." I tried to stay up as long as I could, but after a few hours, I felt myself drifting off.
Because there's no such thing as any, coffee, tea, no other sort of stimuli. Someone broke into my house, murdered my dog, attacked my child. I couldn't be bothered to, brew a cup.
My baby would be safe for the night, and I needed to sleep. She knows this now. As I lay my head in the pillow, I heard a soft noise coming from the baby monitor. I put it on my nightstand. At first it sounded like interference, like a kind of radio would make. Then it turned into a soft moan. Was James asleep? I don't know, why ask me this? Then I heard it. The laugh come from my nightmare. That horrible laugh. The Kefka laugh. I sprung up from my bed. She is a spring. That's the second time she's done that.
Zebedee.
And I grabbed the knife from my night pillow.
Eli, please put a picture of Zebedee on the screen.
I rushed over to James's room. I creaked open the door. I tried the light switch, but it wouldn't come on. I took a step in and I could feel warm liquid on my feet. Suddenly, James's nightlight came on. I could see absolute horror laid out in front of me. Jacob, you read this.
Take us home, boy.
Take us home, boy. We're almost there.
James's body was nailed up on the wall.
Wow.
Okay, you know what? I'm actually not going to read this because this is fiction or not, talking about a 5-year-old, and it's extremely disgusting. There's a link in the description if you want to read it yourselves.
I was disgusted. Start from there.
Yeah, I was disgusted. I could hardly believe this was my baby boy. Then I heard it again. The soft, desperate moan. And then capitals. James was still alive.
James was still alive.
I doubt that.
My baby.
Gordon's alive.
My poor baby, in so much pain, barely clinging to life. Oh, this is fun. I ran across the room and vomited on the floor, but my sickness was interrupted by a horrible cackle coming from behind me. I spun around while still wiping bile from my mouth. I know the feeling. Then out of the shadows emerged the fiend responsible for all this horror. Laughing Jack. His ghost white skin and matted black hair
Oh, for fuck's sake, this sounds fucking familiar.
hung down to his shoulders. He had piercing white eyes surrounded by black rings.
Because they all do. They all have fucking...
killer. His twisted smile revealed a row of sharp, jagged teeth, and his skin didn't look like skin at all. It almost
It
looked
looked
like
like leather.
rubber or plastic.
Ugh.
Almost like a fish.
He wore a patchy black and white clown outfit with striped sleeves with striped sleeved and socks.
Why mention the socks?
You know, proofreading is for suckers. We've been over this.
Oh,
haven't
because
we?
they found one picture and I thought, let's make a...
They found one piece.
His body itself was grotesque. His long arms hanging down past his waist, and the way he was poised made him look almost boneless, like a rag doll.
That's what I look like.
He
Not
let
joking.
out
No,
a
you look more like Slender
sickening
Man.
laugh, as if to let me know he was pleased with my reaction to his work. He then turned around slowly in front of James and began to laugh even more at the horrific sight he had laid out. That was enough to shake me from my terror. I snapped, "Get away from him, you bastard!"
Surely
okay.
afterwards she
That's
came
not
out in
mascot.
a... Yeah, she came out in a...
Mex.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking Mex suit. Get away
Fucking
from...
loader!
Get away from her, you bitch! I rushed...
She pulled the switch in the bedroom. Up into space. By the way, did I mention we're on a spaceship?
Suburban spaceship.
That's the name of the spaceship. The Suburban.
I rushed at the monster, raising the knife above my head, and stabbed down at him. But as soon as the knife touched him, he disappeared in a cloud of black smoke. The knife passed right through and pierced James's still beating heart, splashing... Oh, for...
Wasn't he nailed to the ceiling or something? Like,
I think it was the wall. No, ... what have I done? My baby, I killed my baby.
My baby boy!
I don't think he would have
Moving.
had much chance of recovery.
Fuck, moving on. Police soon arrived to find me in front of my son, still wielding the knife covered in my baby's blood. The trial was short. Insanity. I was placed in the Theophilus house for the... I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. For the criminally insane, where I have been for the past 2 months. It is not so bad here. The only reason I'm awake now is because someone is playing Pop Goes the Weasel outside my window, ... I'll talk to the orderlies about it in the morning, ...
Name.
Lame, even.
Shall we read... Alright, shall we read the comments?
Wait. So, several things before that. Like, back to, like, the trial. So, right, they found it flayed open. So, was there any other evidence? I know, like, it looks pretty cut and dry. You've stabbed the guy in the heart, but stick him to a wall. Anything else? Also, the criminally insane. Why not just the crazy? Like, were you...
I was like, what is it, the 1920s? The criminally insane, indeed. The Bloody Angel says, "This is my #1 favourite creepypasta story. Laughing Jack is amazing. 10 out of 10.
I hate you.
Female Ben drowned.
Benita drowned.
Right? So, is this Nintendo
says-
talking? Because they always have to do female characters.
My life has just begun, ... I am going as Laughing Jack this Halloween."
Oh, wow. You
No.
must be going to a pretty lame Halloween party.
I hope you don't get mistaken with all the other, like, long-haired, like, pale-faced, black eye-lining
Dickheads.
looking dickheads.
Exported Fish 55, so it could be Jeff the Killer.
Could be.
That's Jeff's age, 55. Says, "I'm just going to lay this out here. Me personally give this story a 10. So I have to read this in a foreign accent. Listen. I'm going to just lay this out here. Me personally give this story a 10. But all the people that try to apply real logic, I say to you people that the creepypasta is just a horror story that is supposed to give you a little fright when you read. So like when I saw a comment asking how can you survive when your organs are out and your eyes, tongue and teeth you are nailed to a wall. I say you, my friend, are thinking way too deep into a horror story.
No, the problem with your comment, mate, is the fact that I didn't get creeped out once with this fucking story.
Also,
At
the
all.
fact that you're trying
In
to...
fact, where is the creepy bit? All it is just bollocks. Again, it's just gore. Oh, it's scary because she killed her kid. That's not scary.
Also, eat a dick, Lightning Jack apologist, or whatever the fuck the story's called. Lightning Jack is about an old West gunslinger who's Crocodile Dundee, who solves crimes in a van in
Isn't
California,
it-
or
isn't-
some shit, I don't remember.
The next one's called White Lightning.
Doll Made Smile says, One main absolute reason why I hate clowns, have and always will, is because they show up in like millions of scary stories and they otherwise end up killing someone or making them kill somebody, or they just drive someone insane. And by the way, James wouldn't have lived if there were no organs in his body. People use lungs to breathe. Anyway, great story, 9 out of 10. You're all idiots.
You just sounded like someone from the fucking Beatles in.
This is stupid. This is really stupid.
This is stupid. This is just awful.
So, Laughing Jack, your story is bad and you should feel bad.
And die in a fire.
And
A fire made out of piss.
That's all this story is, just a bucket of piss.
Really
Certainly
is.
not entertainment, is it?
Yeah, what you do is you get a bucket of piss, you put some oil on the top of it, and then you light it on fire. That's this story.
Garbage.
Garbage, garbage. And doesn't even need to be mentioned ever again.
Thanks very much for watching. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, then why not hit subscribe? You can also check out some of our other videos that are flashing on the screen right now. Thanks very much Cardboard Stronghold for editing this video for us. We'll be back soon with more brand new content.